My name's Janice Chandler, and I'm currently the director of Sunderland Samaritans. I've been in post for 2 years, another year to go, and have been a listening volunteer with the Samaritans for coming up 6 years. The Samaritans are an organisation, we're a listening organisation, so most of the work that we do is by telephone, although we also offer an email service and a correspondence service. Nationally, we answer a call every 10 seconds, and that's people who are in despair, struggling to deal with issues in their life, regardless of age. Some 1 in 5 callers actually express suicidal thoughts. We're here to listen. We don't give advice, and we certainly would never tell anybody what to do, but we provide a safe space, confidential to a certain extent, which I'll explore later, confidential area so people can explore their feelings and what's going on in their lives, and we help them to get through the difficult points. Most young people who use the service would tend to use either email or call. We have no age limit on calls, so we can get calls from as young as anyone who can use a telephone, has access to a mobile phone. We're a listening service, as I've mentioned. We don't give advice. Our confidentiality policies are slightly different to other services in that we don't trace calls and can't trace calls. So a young person can ring us. However, if we were concerned about their well-being or the well-being of somebody else in their lives, then we would work with them and talk to them to try and gain information from them to ensure that we could put our safeguarding procedures into place. What we also do is, while we offer a listening service and no advice, we do signpost to other organisations. So it might be that if somebody came to us with a specific problem that they needed advice on, we would signpost them to someone who has that working knowledge for them. As a service, we're not promoted specifically for young people. We're an open access service, so anyone can contact us. However, we're trying to build up our work in schools, which is something that we did a lot more of pre-COVID. But building up work in schools, so delivering training sessions. We work with colleges and universities as well in the same way, doing training sessions and drop-in sessions for young people. I like to see mental health as just being the equivalent of physical health, and I think we get too confused and try to make it something special. So in terms of looking after our physical health, we do things, we try and eat well, we try and exercise, and all those things are really important for our mental health as well. But I think mental health and well-being has such a stigma around it that people are quite anxious about saying if they're concerned about their mental health because of the consequences of that. And people don't take it as seriously as physical health. So I would like to see the two being the same. And one of the roles that we hope to do is to remove that stigma from people so they are confident to talk about their mental health and well-being concerns that they have. And as a suicide prevention organisation, particularly encouraging people to talk about any suicidal thoughts that they may have. I think one of the main things is make sure that you concentrate on the person. So if you're trying to talk to somebody and you're concerned about their well-being, one of the key things is put down your mobile phone, put that to one side, so that you're actually having a proper discussion with them. You need to make sure that you're patient with them, because a lot of people, you might say, how are you doing today if you're concerned about them? And they'll say, I'm fine. And they mightn't be ready to talk about it. So it's letting people know that you are available to talk, and revisiting with people as well. Use open questions, so don't, how are you? Fine. Encourage them to talk about how they're feeling. Ask all the open-ended questions, and try not to ask something that can just end up with a yes or no, because that just closes the conversation off. And don't be scared to ask those difficult questions. So if you are concerned about somebody and you ask and they say they're fine, follow that up with, well, you don't seem fine because you've been a little bit quiet. So, and that opens the door for people to talk if they want to. We have, because of the nature of the work that we do, and I've said that 1 in 5 callers will express some suicidal thoughts, if not a suicide plan, or actively in the process of taking their own lives. We have very, very good support structures. And we do what we advise everybody else to do, and that is talk. So we talk, we're never on duty alone, we work with a duty partner. So we, at the end of each call, if they aren't busy with a call, we'll debrief to them and talk about what's happened. At the beginning and end of every shift, we debrief with somebody that we call the day leader, and talk through all the calls that we've taken. If it's a specifically traumatic call and you've dealt with something very, very difficult or challenging, we would end the shift at that point, and there wouldn't be an expectation that you would take another call after that. And then we keep moving up, if you like, in terms of layers of support. So once you've debriefed to the day leader, if it is a challenging call, then we'll have a deputy director for volunteer care who would get in touch the following day to make sure you're all right. And myself as director obviously oversees everything in terms of making sure that we are well and mentally well, because if we're not, we can't do what we need to do. I absolutely love it. It's a real challenge, particularly the director role. It's a challenge being a listening volunteer, but taking on additional roles in the branch is an extra challenge. We're all volunteers, so right up to and including all the regional staff that we have, we've got 27,000 volunteers nationally, and there's only the staff at central office who would actually be employed. Everybody else gives their time freely and willingly. So it's great. I really, really do love it. We only serve 3 years as a director, and then it goes to the branch to appoint the next director. So I have about 10 months left, and I'm already thinking that I'm going to be lost at the end of it and don't know what to do. I'll continue as a listening volunteer, obviously, and hopefully I'll take on other roles. But it is a full-time job that you do free of charge. And you wouldn't do it if you didn't love it.